What's up, guys? Before we get into the interview with Mr. Girl, I wanted to let you know we are officially on SoundCloud, on iTunes, and on Spotify. We're Cosmic Space Cast. Look us up, listen to us on the go, in the car, blast it in the car, pull up to the red light, hose on the right. You have me yelling in the mics. The dynamics could be better.
Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to a brand new episode of the Cosmic Cast. It's me, Austin, aka Irony MI, back again with my co-host as always. If this is your first time watching, we have Ari, who's the red hat man.
Hello.
We have Jacob, who's the trench coat man.
Greetings.
And we have Jason, who is slightly underdressed for this occasion.
Hello.
You're supposed to laugh, but anyways.
Hello.
But today we're not going to be talking about dress. We're going to be talking about something else. I mean, a few episodes ago, you guys might remember, we talked about a certain video that had been making the rounds on the YouTube Underground. The video in question was titled Cuties, an uncomfortably honest review. And let's just say that after we talked through that video, we had quite a few questions. Well, today, we're going to get those questions answered because we have with us the creator of that video, MrGirl, aka Max.
Hey, guys. First off, can we just say thank you for coming on? We legit didn't think we would be able to get you on our podcast. This is fucking insane.
Oh, yeah, sure. No problem. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah. And anyways, so yeah, we're just going to go around asking him some questions. And I think I'm just going to start with, I got to ask you, man, what exactly made you want to choose MrGirl as your channel name?
It's actually my PlayStation Network name.
Really?
And has been for like 10 years or something.
Was it a randomly generated name, or did you actually just like come up with it?
No. Oh, no. I chose it.
What's
Is
the
there a
story
message?
behind it?
Handcrafted.
Message behind it?
What made you choose it on there?
I just like, I guess I just like the idea of beating people at video games, and then my name being MrGirl is just something satisfying about that. And then for the channel, kind of the idea that we all don't fit in our boxes. And I believe that things like gender and race and political affiliation and all these things are all kind of more fluid than most people want to acknowledge. So that's why I kept the name.
Damn.
So it was a troll blooming
Troll
into
that became
social
a sincere
commentary.
That
message.
became a message. Damn. That's actually pretty lit.
Right on.
A whole
Thank you.
motif behind. Okay.
I came up with Super Gaming Dude because my old group left me. We were called the Super Gaming Bros. And I just needed to change it to just be me. It's fucking. I feel dumb now.
Well, fuck them.
Thank you.
Well, my channel used to be a gaming channel, so it used to be MrGirl Gaming.
What
but then
games? What games? If not a secret.
Favorite game, definitely Last of Us.
Oh, my
Oh,
God.
dude, heck yes. We talk about The Last of Us all the time.
You play it online?
I never got to play the first game. I never played the first game until 2015, unfortunately, so I never really got into that crowd. But I'm definitely planning on playing it for The Last of Us
the
2.
crowd is still going.
Dude.
It's
Really?
still quite active.
Last of Us
Yeah.
Online was probably one of the best multiplayer experiences I've ever had the pleasure of playing on.
Yeah, it's the best online multiplayer, hands down, of any game I've ever played. And I still play it probably like 10 hours a week or something
Dude,
like that.
oh
Like,
yeah.
I play a lot.
Yeah.
Okay, well that actually answers one of our questions.
Hold up.
Okay.
Don't we
Well-
know somebody else that also got their name from like their gamer tag?
Heroism, yeah, Bryce.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
That's actually pretty crazy.
All right. So somebody want to take the next question then?
Yeah, for sure. So, kind of in addition to how you got your name, I was just kind of curious what made you want to get into YouTube? Like any inspirations or anything like that?
Red Letter Media.
Oh,
Media. That sounds
I haven't heard
familiar.
that name in a while.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I started watching their stuff. They're one of the only YouTube channels that I like regularly watch, actually. But I started watching their stuff in like 2010, and I wanted to be a screenwriter.
Right
I
on.
mean, part of me still does for Hollywood movies or independent movies or whatever. And so I had moved away from like essays and political writings and stuff like that. But I had also always been interested in like making short films, and I had made a documentary and edited another documentary. And so eventually, not being hired to write screenplays, and also if I ever had been, I really doubt I'd be able to put the weird shit that I want to in those screenplays. So eventually, YouTube just started to seem like a creative outlet.
Did you ever think that like the reason you weren't getting hired is because of your like controversial past and present?
No. In LA, people do not give a shit about your past or you or really anything you do or say unless you become famous.
So are you in
Then-
LA right now, or just
I prefer not to answer that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that
that's
makes
fine.
sense.
There's too
That's
many
fair.
people trying to figure out where I live.
Oh yeah, my yeah.
Yeah, yeah, we
So
understand.
I will
Sorry.
remain mysterious about
Yeah,
my
it's all good.
location.
My-
But I've lived in a
man.
lot of different cities, so the psychos trying to find my address.
Really? Anybody
yeah.
dox you yet?
There have been, yeah. There's been some doxing going
Oh
on.
shit!
Yeah.
Really?
Full on manhunt. And did anybody end up like showing up at the door and is like, hey, I know who you are. You about to catch these hands?
I don't. No one has physically actually shown up, but definitely doxing attempts are being made somewhat frequently.
Jesus, I like no matter like what someone has done or stuff like that. Like something like that over a YouTube video is very fucked up. I wouldn't want to wish that on anybody.
Sure, it depends on what the video is, though. Like, if I literally had kidnapped a child, then dox away. I think that's
Yeah,
the
like
right
that,
thing to do.
like that the cat guy. Yeah.
Yeah, if somebody's actually committing a crime, then sure, at that point, it's not doxing. It's just like helping the police.
Right, but like, ooh, you make a controversial YouTube video, time to dox. You know that doesn't
That's
that doesn't make sense.
That's pretty insane.
It's
The
kind of sad.
the weirdest part to me is that people think they're taking the moral high ground by like posting someone's home address on the internet, like that's the right thing to do. And I would say it's rarely the right thing to do.
Right.
That's fair. But like, so like you started the YouTube and like you wanted to write for movies, but then like you like, oh, this is the perfect outlet. Did you ever think from terms of like, because my content and the commentary that I make is so like, I don't want to say niche, it's like rather controversial and niche. Did you think that like that's why you like maybe you were thinking that's why I'm gonna pop off is because my content is so unique?
That's my hope is that the idea of being just another gaming channel or another left wing. I mean, because if I had to pick a side, I'd probably choose the liberals. As much as I disagree with them about stuff, and as much as they all seem to hate me, I'm voting for Joe Biden, and that's probably the side I would choose if I were to choose a side. But the whole point of the channel is that I don't want to choose a side.
Are you voting or are you settling?
What's the difference? You mean am I
Well, like,
am I happy
like
about
if you
Joe
had,
Exactly.
yeah, no, if you had a choice to vote for someone else, like if that's a quick political tangent, but like, would you vote for Biden or would you prefer to vote for with someone with different policies on the left?
Like Bernie.
I like Andrew Yang, except I don't think he has really the experience. If Andrew Yang were like already a senator or something, I would have liked that. Bernie is cool. I don't know. Biden is fine, and I like the idea of having a fine president. Like honestly, I'm okay. Like if Mitt Romney ran, that would be fine. Like anybody who I don't think is insane. I just don't like
at this
Trump.
point, basically at this point, yeah.
Yeah, at this point, right.
That's weird. I always pictured you as a Trump supporter, to be honest with you.
Right. So there are a lot of things I don't like about liberals and Democrats and their policies and especially the way they talk to anyone who isn't in their group.
Right.
And there are things I like about Trump, and I do like the idea that he's paved the way for people. Like I think I could run for office. Honestly,
Okay.
Even in spite of all the horrible, insane shit I've said, I honestly think that if I ran for office, Trump has paved the way for that to happen someday.
Before 2016, I'll be like, no way, but now,
Right? Yeah. Now it's like, well, I guess anyone really can be president.
Holy
If Trump can be president, anyone can be
Could be,
president.
yeah, man.
Hashtag Kanye 2020.
And yeah, I'm kind of like making fun of him, but I actually think that's a good thing.
Because like he didn't really seem like he had any ties to politics. You know, he just seemed like a crazy fucker on the internet, and on TV shows and on Twitter. You know, but he fucking ran and he fucking won. Like,
yeah, and that's a good thing. That's inspiring. We should be able to. The people in politics, the political elite, should not feel like they are in this club that can't be challenged from the outside. And so I think it's a good thing to know that that's one good thing about social media is that you can run your own campaign, really.
Exactly. But it's too bad that he turned out to be a, crazy fucker in office.
Yes, it is too bad. I mean, I'm not surprised by that, but like I started hating Trump as soon as he said he wanted to ban Muslims. Because to me, that's in direct violation of the First Amendment. And it's like, if you don't understand freedom of speech and freedom of religion, you really shouldn't be president. So
100%.
that was kind of it for me. And that was before he even got elected.
I
think what truly tipped me off to him was probably the whole ICE and the children in basically like prison
cages.
I thought that was definitely the camel.
that's
the straw that broke the camel's back. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's disturbing. It's really disturbing, and his total lack of like, just the way he talks about it, like on the debate on Thursday, and he was like, the cages were so nice and so clean. And it's like you're talking about kids that you basically kidnapped, and then you lost track of them and their parents and can't return them home. It's kind of crazy that he's still totally unable to talk about it. Like, even if you were going to defend it, there's ways to defend it that don't make you sound like a fucking sociopath. But he cannot.
He can't do it. Like, and no one who ever talks about it either does. Like, they literally you can't boil it down to make it sound like the moral right. It's kids in cages. That's all it really boils down to.
Yeah, I mean, like, honestly, if you were going to take the really, like, dirty road, you could just say that their parents abandoned them. We've tried to reach their parents. Their parents don't want to be found because they want them to become U.S. citizens under Dreamers. They basically chucked them across the fence, said they're our problem, and now, we're taking care of them as best we can. Like, it's not that hard to come up, like, it's totally a lie, but it's not that hard to come up with a response. But he's just like, well, yeah, we kidnapped them, but the cages are so clean.
They're well fed. They're fine.
It's fucking weird.
The fact that we even like debate whatever. All right. Well, let's get to the juice. Why you made so many news in the past?
Okay.
Couple
of
Cuties
months? Time.
It's
Cuties time. So,
all right.
Of course, the infamous video of Cuties made quite a tour of the internet. Did you expect it to fucking reach the numbers it did?
No, not at all. Because I made a different video about pedophiles, basically saying that they're human and that we should empathize with them. And that
yes, I actually watched that one. Yeah.
Okay, so that I think it has a couple thousand views, but like nothing really happened there. I made a lot of like disturbing or offensive videos that don't seem to get much of a response. So. Yeah, I was pretty surprised. I mean, I figured eventually one of these videos has to like kind of take off to some degree, but no. I mean, also this is one of my lazier videos. Like, definitely the least effort videos are the ones that's just like me sitting in a chair talking.
Right. I did notice watching your other videos, it definitely seemed that this one was on the lower end of production value. You were just sitting down talking and putting up movie videos. So I do understand that, but actually, I'm gonna ask something real quick. Just answer as truthfully as you can. Are you a pedophile?
No.
That's full blunt. No.
No. I mean, are you using the diagnostic like definition of pedophile? As a pedophile is somebody who's primarily and exclusively attracted to prepubescent children. Like, no, I'm not. I have a girlfriend. So you can't really have a girlfriend and be a pedophile. I guess if you're faking it and you're secretly wishing your girlfriend were 10 years old, I guess you could be closeted. But no,
okay,
right.
I'm not really closeted about anything.
I actually want to discuss like the points you make in there, but like a bit later because since we're still covering Cuties. But I want to like talk about your philosophy a bit later in the episode if you don't mind.
About what I just said.
No, just like that, and also like the video about the consent. I also want to cover a bit later.
Oh yeah, okay.
The Vimeo exclusive one. That shit was crazy.
Well, yeah, that got taken down by YouTube twice, and I got a strike for it. So I kinda
Yeah,
had
How
it
many
back
do you
up.
have?
Right now, 0. They go away after 90 days. I think that's
Oh.
my only strike I've ever gotten is repost. I guess I got one strike. I got a warning when it got taken down, and then I put it back up and got a strike. And that's
Did you expect like so much hate and vitriol from this video that you got?
Kind of. I mean, that's part of what draws me to talk about pedophilia and the blurry line between adults and children and how we handle that as a society. Just because it's become like a political boogeyman. First of all, like the idea of the pedophile left, like trying to normalize and legalize pedophilia, and then
Wait,
also.
How come the left is normalizing pedophilia?
He's talking about that girl that showed up at TEDx and said like it should be on the LGBTQ spectrum, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, but this is bullshit. Please, come on. Like I think every
No,
like,
no,
I know.
I'm saying it's a right wing boogeyman, and the way that
Right.
left wingers
okay.
think
Oh,
people on the right are all
okay.
Nazis. The
Yeah,
people on the
okay.
right think the left is all pedophiles, and that they want
Oh, okay, yeah.
that they want to be LGBTQP and to legalize it and whatever. I don't think that's what the TED Talk woman was saying. I don't think she was saying it should be legal. She was saying that it is a genuine sexual orientation.
Regardless.
And that a problematic sexual orientation because you can't, the pedophiles can't have sex without breaking the law, basically.
Exactly. I feel like no matter what, this shouldn't be deemed a actual sexual orientation. I feel like this should be deemed as a mental illness or something. Because
Well, I mean, it is.
It is, exactly. Like if we
Well, like, it
go
could be
down the
both.
line, if we go down the line and actually like normalize like this kind of thing and say, oh, it's just a sexual orientation, there's nothing wrong with feeling that way. I feel like it will lead to pretty fucked up
I don't
shit.
think that saying that that it's a sexual orientation means that there's nothing wrong with it. Like you could say you have a fetish, right? You say you have a spanking fetish, and you like being spanked. You can't get off without being spanked. That's a fetish. And then Jeffrey Dahmer has a fetish for killing people, right?
Right.
He can't get off without murdering somebody. It's still a fetish. It doesn't mean that you agree with it.
But see,
or that it
there's
should
some
be legal.
fetish. There's some fetishes. Yeah, exactly. There's some fetishes that you can classify as like harmless for the society and like for the people around you. And but
Right.
if it's only
or
you
like
and your
necrophilia.
yeah, or like that person like who was even consensually was willing to get murdered.
Right.
That's still illegal. And I guess still
Yeah.
it's on the border.
Yeah, so that's kind of what attracts me to the topic is that people have a very hard time differentiating between talking about what's happening, and so in the TED Talk she says 2 to 3% of men are pedophiles, right? So it's happening, it's here, and then talking about what's legal and what should be legal. Like they all get wound up, and people get very defensive and very strongly want to take the position, whatever position they can of, I am not a pedophile, I'm a normal person, this thing is bad, and we should kill anyone who says it's not.
Right.
Yeah,
And
I'll
so,
agree with that.
and so the idea that there's this thing that I think we need to talk about because, like being gay or straight, I don't think that everyone has a switch in their brain that when someone is of legal age of consent in whatever area they're in, they are not able to be attracted to someone below that age. That doesn't make sense to me.
So-
And
Yeah.
and,
so
and I think we need to be able to tackle the complexities of that. And when there's this thing that everybody's too afraid to talk about, that makes me want to talk about it.
So basically, what you're trying to say is that you don't want to. You're not defending pedophiles per se.
I'm
wanna
defending them
rather-
from being killed for being attracted to kids. Like, yeah, I don't think you should be killed for your thoughts or your feelings. No.
Okay, so you're basically like, okay, I see.
All right, so
That's-
that kind of gives me kind of a question. In your opinion, do you think that there's maybe more pedophiles statistically that we know, and that they're just afraid of the consequences, and so a lot of people are more, let's say, reserved about it, and we don't realize that they're pedophiles?
Well, I think there's an assumption that pedophiles think pedophilia should, or that sex with children should be legal. And I don't know that that's true. Like, I don't know that your average rapist thinks it should be legal to, like, mace a woman in a parking lot and then rape her. Like, they do it. They want to do it. But I don't think they think, like, everybody... They don't want it to happen to, like, their sister or something, right? Or, like, thieves don't think theft should be legal. So I don't know that... I don't know what percentage... if you look at, like, the map community on Twitter or YouTube... There are a lot of people in it who acknowledge that were they to act out their sexual fantasies, it would actually be destructive and that it should be illegal. So I don't think that there's really much widespread support for legalizing sex with kids, because even a pedophile, does a pedophile think like, oh yeah, my daughter or my niece or my nephew, like I should let her go on like a weekend trip to a hotel with a 40-year-old man? Like I really don't think that that's that common.
Right.
I think they wish they could do it.
Eesh.
But I don't know if they wish other people could do it.
I get what you mean,
Okay.
and
Yeah, I see your point.
I get what you mean. It's
Have
it's
I
just-
painted a clear enough picture to get my point across?
Crystal clear.
It's
Okay,
very this for sure. This topic is like we could be on this for hours. I feel like this has so much. It's so complex and
yeah.
it's so
Yeah.
there's too many like ins and outs and things you have to know about it. It's just a very dense topic to have.
I mean, a lot of people don't even want their 19-year-old child to go on a date. That makes them uncomfortable. Or 16-year-old to go on a date with
But
another
it
16-year-old.
also
So,
like when we discuss it, it's also very subjective to the person, like upbringing too, don't you think?
yeah.
Like what considered grooming for one is, like, how do I say that?
Well, I mean,
Like, yeah, basically
to,
what I
to
mean-
prove that, you don't have to look any further than all of the countries that have like the legal age of
Sure,
consent
right.
lower.
So the age of consent in the 1800s was 7.
Oh God.
Bruh.
So the concept that like a lot of the conservatives commenting on the video are like, oh, this is going, we're going down the shitter. This whole country, this degenerates are like, no, we're not really. The age of consent has gone up, but has at least doubled in most of the country. I think it was like 10 and 13 in the rest of the country at that time. So
Jesus Christ.
there was a time when also girls go into puberty earlier now. So that was even younger at the time. So I think we're moving in the direction of not having sex with kids for sure overall.
The best
So
direction.
I don't- I
I'd
don't-
say.
I mean,
really
I
not
think
concerned about
Mr. Epstein is not exactly okay with you on that one, but you know, demographically, I think we're fine.
Oh
yeah.
God.
There's always going to be people who are abusing kids. Well, and then the TED Talk also said that most child abusers are not pedophiles. They're just opportunists. Because
Yeesh.
being able to be sexually attracted to a child doesn't make you a pedophile. A pedophile is someone who's primarily... It's like if you have sex in prison with a guy, it's not because you're gay. It might be, but it might also just be because, that's what's available.
That's an
Yeesh,
interesting
man.
point, actually.
And the people who take care of children or who are in charge of children, like teachers or parents or step parents or whatever, have access and trust, and it's really hard to stop them.
Damn, dude.
Public schools more
Dude,
like a breeding
This
ground.
is fucked. This is fucked.
Yeah, I'm honestly, I was just kind of sitting there for a moment, just like, blankly staring, like, that's one way of putting it that I had never really thought of before, and that really, that changes the
opportunism.
perspective, I guess. Yes, that was actually that's a really good point, honestly.
I actually have a question before we move on. I have like one more question before we move on. Do you first off, why did you come onto our podcast? Why did you accept our request, basically?
I gotta grow the channel.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
That's the way to do it, man.
yeah.
yeah, I have to make appearances.
You're really
You
Opportunist.
also I've gotten a couple other requests. I took one other one that was a semi mistake.
Oh, what happened?
yeah. Did they riff on you?
She spent the entire time telling me that I'm weird and she's normal, basically. And like I like her as a person. Like I like her interpersonally, but I would say the interview did not go that well. And then she put like a 5-minute intro of her talking about how pedophilia is bad and how she's against it. Basically introduced it as though I'm a pedophile, even though she doesn't think I am. And it was just really, really weird.
She legit went H3H3 on you.
Yeah,
like she did what
100%.
H3H3 did to Keemstar. Hey guys, we hate Keemstar, but
Yes.
we have to have him on for entertainment.
Yeesh.
Yeah.
Because this is a hot
And
topic right now.
It just makes us both look bad, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But, yeah. So that was Melly P, the YouTube channel.
Mm-hmm.
You can see my interview with her there. It was quite different from this one. But yeah, I just got the sense from although I got the same sense from her message. Actually, it was my idea for her to interview me, but I did want to like talk to her about how to do that. And the way we talked about it, she made it sound like it would be more like this than it was. But yeah, I think that I have to.
It's all one thing we're all motivated for.
Get
it's
out
clout.
there and talk to people. And you guys sounded like you wouldn't be insane. And
Yeah, for sure, man. We definitely just wanted to get you on here and just kind of hear your point of view. You know, I don't see a point of a podcast like, hey, let's bring this person. Oh, hey, laugh at him. You know, this guy sucks.
Yeah,
This is a
I don't
ploy.
get
Like,
why you would do that. Yeah.
That's
I know, but there's people who are making thousands of dollars by calling me a child molester. So
Sure.
I can see why you would do it.
yeah. Jokes on them. We're not monetized.
That's because it's easy, I feel like, also.
yeah.
That's easy
100%.
content. It's harder to have an actual conversation than it is to scream, "That guy's a pedophile! Fuck!" You know?
True.
Yeah,
and
although,
it makes you
like,
feel good to hear it.
We can all agree.
Feels good.
Yeah, we can all
Feels
agree.
good to shit on people.
We can all agree your video was kind of like inviting to do that. Was it on purpose, by the way? Like, were there like some things you decided to say that are like, oh, this is gonna get attention when I say that?
Not really. I mean, it's more like I'm giving my honest review of the movie. Like my friend that I watched it with so like when you're among friends, you can talk about way more fucked up shit.
Yeah,
So like we were
100%.
arguing about which one is the hottest.
Okay.
And like when you're doing that with your friends, it's like there's this understood like feeling of safety of like you know that your friend that you've known for a long time isn't going to freak out and be like, what do you mean, dude?
And you're both clearly
YouTube.
joking and fucking around. I get you.
Yeah.
I get you.
I mean, sort of. We were also genuinely arguing about which one is the hottest, though.
But like, yeah, because see,
Like, as
So
like
you
we're
tell-
aware that it is a fucked up thing to be arguing about, but
so you still said like the thing. Sorry for my bad. But so you said like the thing that like your quote was, yeah. So it's like you said that you were attracted to girls because the director sexualized them, and you said that, and we said that purposely. What like there was no idea behind like, oh, this is gonna make motherfuckers take that clip.
So I'm saying that when I sit down to make a video like that, I'm just gonna say whatever the thing I think is most true about this, if I think it's interesting, and then as I'm saying it, I'm like I'm not like like socially retarded. Like I understand how it is going to come across to people. So I think I throw some jokes in there to be like, I am aware that what I am saying makes me sound insane and that you are going to be upset by it. And I called it like an uncomfortably honest review because I guess because of what I'm saying right now. I'm being honest. I understand that it's going to make people uncomfortable. So the jokes are just kind of to acknowledge that like I get that what I'm saying is unusual.
So were they jokes still, or like part? The part of the joke is always a little bit of truth.
Well,
in the
like
joke.
if I'm saying like I'm going to watch it over and over again, or like when I'm saying that the filmmaker's trying to specifically make me focus on the blonde one, like yeah, those are jokes. But overall, the message of the review that the movie is trying to implicate you by making you attracted to these children, partly by making you view them as older than they are, as they're pretending to be older than they are. And they actually are older than they say they are in the film. I believe that. I think that the movie's trying to make you deal with the fact that you can be attracted to kids.
So basically, this whole thing was like your very unconventional way to drawing attention to the fact that it's not like it's the filmmakers who create that controversial. I
that
guess,
thing that we don't
way
want
of-
to talk about. The
Yeah.
fact that like you can be attracted to a 17-year-old or 16-year-old or 15-year-old, and then the lower I go, the more disturbing it is.
It's
But
not
like
what
we could, huh?
It's not what I meant. I meant like, was it your way to attract attention to how fucked up the movie actually is? But then somehow.
No, I'm not even saying it's a bad thing to do that.
Oh, really?
I think the problem with what she did is that she used actual children.
Yes,
Yes,
thank you.
that was,
Oh my
I think that
god.
was like the main point everyone was trying to mention.
Yeah, I don't think that you should. Well, I mean, okay, there's different degrees of making you attracted to children, right? Like, so you could make a video about like a middle school cheerleading team dancing in similarly provocative clothing, and but dancing not as sexually, and probably put the camera like not between their legs, and I wouldn't think that's immoral or as immoral. I mean, in a way, casting a kid in a movie is inherently immoral. Like, look at Jake Lloyd from Phantom Menace. It's like it's completely fucked up his life. A lot of child actors become fucked up because you're taking this person who can't really understand or grasp the magnitude of what they're signing up for, make them world famous, and basically just completely derail their life and turn them into a product. So, like, whether it's sexual or not, like, child acting is already pretty fucked up, in my opinion. So that's what I guess that's part of my point is that it's like it's not cut and dry. Like, I don't think Cuties should be illegal, but I do think it's pretty unethical to stick a camera between a child's legs and then be like, "See how weird
This is
makes you
wrong.
feel?"
This is bad.
Yeah,
There's so many different ways they could have done this. And it could have been fine. I think if it was, I don't know, like, animated and had like, adult voice actors or something, this could have been like the talking point of the year or something, right? But the fact that they had actual children.
it might be more successful because they had actual children.
I think I honestly do think that's probably the case. That the reason it got such
think so, too.
uproar is
That doesn't
'cause
make
there's
it the right
actual
thing to
children
do,
being
but-
used.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It worked.
It's like it's not more famous, it's more infamous.
Yeah,
And
Exactly.
we all know, we all love a good scandal.
And like a movie like Cuties is pretty much shooting for infamy, right? Like no one, it's
Yeah.
not going to be anybody's favorite movie. It's not like Bring It On or you know, or Glee or whatever. It's a fucking. Have you guys seen it?
Cuties?
No, Cuties.
I haven't watched it, but my girlfriend did, and she told me everything about it.
Okay, so like there's a scene where she pushes her like one of the girls into a river and she almost drowns.
Yep.
So like it's not the movie is going for infamy for sure. It's not trying to be anyone's favorite summer classic childhood movie.
Right. Yeah, I get that. Back to the your Cuties review. Obviously, I just gotta ask about the response. Like, did you have any like certain? You may have already answered this. Like, certain expectations of what the video would do, and the kind of attention it would gather.
No, I mean really, I thought most people. So like my channel, if I get like 10 subs from a video, I'm doing good. Like it took me a year to get 80 subs. And then it took another year to get to 1,000. And then I wasn't really speeding up. Like I think the third year was finishing around the time I posted the review, and I had 1,700. So like,
Do you ever regret the fact that your content is like that, and then since you're interested in filmmaking, obviously, or like writing, do you ever regret picking that lane rather than like doing something more mainstream?
No, because I don't know. I mean, it's really hard to make. I guess it's hard to make it on YouTube too, but at least my stuff is being seen by somebody. Like the idea of just hammering away writing screenplays or making movies that don't get seen by big audiences, or it takes so long to make a movie and then you submit it to film festivals and then you're just like hoping that a handful of people will see it. It just gets like lonely and depressing. I like a much more active back and forth. I like that Cuties can come out and I can post a review of it like 2 days later. I like the speed of it. So are you saying that like I fucked my chances at having a normal life? Like no, I think I did that a long time ago.
No, yeah. Speaking of, that's a great segue into. We actually dug up a little bit about you, And
Nice.
do you mind telling us about what
Yes.
happened? We're not gonna dox. Don't worry about it. But do you mind telling us what happened?
His home
What did you
address
say?
is-
What did you
Yeah.
say during your high school years that got you suspended?
Yeah, that's. I could tell you about that. I had a newsletter. I would print out at a copy shop and make like 300 or 500 copies of it, and hand it out in the lunchroom. And my junior year, I started more directly talking about controversial stuff and making fun of the administration and making like weird gay jokes and masturbation jokes. And I got suspended 4 times, all of which were retroactively overturned after I served them.
Damn. And is there any particular thing you want to talk about, like in just from the high school? Did you actually get like any uproar from the students?
It's probably like 50-50. I would say a lot of students were offended, and then a lot of students thought it was funny or were fans of me. And I was the only person doing this, and the high school had like 1,400 kids in it, I think. So it was
Really?
like, yeah. So I was like definitely the like most famous person in the high school just by brute force. Not that like people like loved my writing or anything, but like I was the only person writing offensive things and handing them out in the lunchroom. I think because other people thought that the school can tell you not to do that, but they can't because it's a public school. So you can write whatever the fuck you want,
Oh yeah.
and they can't stop you.
Damn.
So I kind of exploited that and the captive audience.
Did
You
they
actually,
ever reach? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
It's all good. I actually wanted to ask you this because yeah, we looked you up like we said, but we actually saw 2 things. One, an article from the Denver Post,
Yeah.
talking about how you were actually arrested for the things that you've said, and also your AMA on Reddit.
Right. Yeah. So in college, I was arrested for saying that we should empathize with the Virginia Tech shooter. More specifically, saying that I could empathize with the Virginia Tech shooter. Although it was the person who called the police on me was the head of the Women's Studies department, who already hated me, and I think mostly because of a newsletter I wrote about how women can't have orgasms and how it's a myth, and how basically just this satire about like bad college sex.
So you don't actually think that?
No, I don't think that. But I was like, the way to have sex with a woman is you just make sure her vagina is as dry as you possibly can get it, and then you just jam your dick in as hard as you possibly can.
That's what what's his fucking name? Fuck, he made the review about that the WAP song.
Ben
What is it?
Shapiro?
Ben Shapiro.
Oh yeah,
That's what Ben Shapiro
with his
You
wife. Where
struggle
he's like,
with Ben
if your vagina is that wet, there's something medically wrong with it.
There's something radically wrong with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, if you guys didn't know, Ben Shapiro ghost written that article by Max. So.
yes, that's right. Yeah, so I was already. I mean, I don't know why that made the Women's Studies department hate me because I was obviously joking. If anything, I'm arguing like on their side, but she didn't like it. So then my professor told her that I had said that anybody who says they've never thought about shooting people is lying, and that we all have violent thoughts, and that if you look at a school shooter and you say like, "Whoa, I have no idea why someone would do that," like you're lying. You know school sucks. You know why it sucks. And when people shoot each other, you know why they're doing it. And she was like, "Are you saying that you would have thought of shooting people?"
You said yes.
No, I said thought about it or considered it, and she said both. And I said I've thought about it. I've never considered it, but I've thought about it in the sense that like we all play Call of Duty, we all watch football, we all watch boxing. Like our culture is a violent culture. And we are constantly talking and thinking about violence and shooting each other and punching each other. So like the idea that any of us in this room have never thought about shooting people is absurd. Of course we've all thought about it. Obviously this is like pretty similar to the Cuties thing where it's like you can say that you have had weird sexual or violent thoughts about any horrible crime or immoral act. That doesn't mean that you're potentially going to do it or that you're considering it.
Do it right.
If I'm at the mall and I think about pushing an old lady down the escalator, that doesn't mean that like I actually want to. But you know,
It's just that the thought just popped into your
just
head.
a little part of me
Yeah,
wants
it's
to. But
intrusive
you know,
thoughts,
that little part of me is under control, and I think that's
And
like what we
that's-
hope.
Yeah, that's
What?
fairly common. Like those kind of thoughts, like popping into your head randomly, it's
Right.
fairly
Yeah,
common.
it's
You want to
perfectly
blurt out
healthy.
the N word when you're talking to like your black teacher, not because you hate black people, just because you're not supposed to, and you just part of you wants to see what would happen if you did.
Like, damn, it would be fucked up if I just screamed nigga out
Right.
loud to him, right? Exactly.
Yeah, but there's some part of you that wants to do those impulsive, terrible things, but that doesn't mean that you're a criminal in the making. So anyway,
It's like you're in an argument with someone and you're losing, and you're like, the only way that I'm going to win this argument is if I just punch them so hard that it knocks them out.
exactly. But you're not.
I have to restrain myself.
Right.
Everybody started confessing.
We've all got our demons, guys.
God damn.
So, so the head of the women's studies department saw an opportunity upon hearing this story from my professor. So she called the police on me, and when they arrested me, she drove around in circles in the parking lot, shouting, "We got his ass."
Wow.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Oh boy,
we got
that
it.
is
Wow.
cringe.
What a dick.
That is
I
such
know.
cringe.
Yeah, it's
Do
appreciated.
you think it's act of revenge for the satire about?
I do. I think that. I mean, I although in the police interviews, some of my classmates did say they were genuinely afraid of me, and then some of them were like, why did you arrest
Seriously?
me?" Yeah. I freak people
Why-
out. Like
why-
a lot of people are fucking horrified by me.
Why? That doesn't make any sense. Like, I legit can't see why
you
someone
look
would be
you look pretty
terrified of
harmless
you.
to me. In my so
Thank you.
Like, explain. Can you like dive a little bit deeper into that, if you can?
I think that anyone who does not want to confront their own violent thought, like the people who were defending me were like, well, yeah, of course we've all had violent thoughts. I think the people who are terrified of me were like the kinds of people who can't talk about that, and who are like, we shouldn't talk about that. Also, the context was the professor was like, let's talk about the shooting that happened yesterday. So it's not like I just walked in and was like, guys, I've been fucking thinking. like she asked me what I thought about it, and that was my answer.
goddamn.
I mean, yeah, she literally inviting a conversation about it. That's literally
Right, and-
inviting a
No,
conversation.
Yeah,
no,
it's
it's like I just came down from the mountaintop. I've been meditating.
Busted on Cal 103. Bitch, listen here. Have you ever thought about lighting up
Yeah.
this room?
Right.
Jesus.
Fuck, man.
So yeah, that was college.
I'm gonna be honest with you real quick. I literally thought you were like a groomer extraordinaire certified. And this interview, I'm a little baffled by the. I obviously understand that everybody plays a character online, but damn.
It's not really character. It's just that I think that it's unusual for if somebody's admitting that they had a sexual thought about a child, 99% of the time, like they're either wildly breaking social norms, which is the case and what I was doing, or they are a pedophile. I think on YouTube, like the only openly pedophile people I've ever seen on YouTube are all anonymous, and they're all like showing like weird charts and diagrams, and then like they all talk like this, and like, you know, they're explaining they're like, I'm a member of the map community.
Like that furry avatar with the fucking
With the crossed
in
arms.
defense of
Furry avatar or
pedophiles.
anime avatar. So
Oh
I
my
don't.
God.
So I understand why people think like the only reason this person would be saying this, as if it's normal, is that they think pedophilia is normal. However, I think I gave quite a number of cues that I understand that I'm crossing some, like breaking some social law. And that's the other thing is I think a lot of the outrage is not really about the idea that I'm attracted to children. I don't really think that people think that, or that they are that upset about that. I think that I've broken some like code that's like we're just not going to talk about any sexual thoughts that we have about anyone under 18, and we're definitely not going to talk about any sexual thoughts that they have, and we're just not going to talk about it.
Yeah, but however, like I understand your point about like if everybody has like very, but like the kind of thoughts you're talking about, it's very like a short thought, or like I guess what you're talking about. But like I don't want to sound like I'm saying it just to prove you wrong, but personally I never Like I don't want to sound like the girl you described in the interview,
Starting
but like,
to. Starting to
yeah,
sound a little bit like it.
I understand
A
that
little
it
bit.
might sound like, but like I simply
I'm normal. Please
simply
believe
never
me,
think
guys.
about-
I'm normal.
Simply
I'm
never
sitting in a
think of-
spaceship in my underwear. I promise I'm
Here's
normal.
here's the problem with doing this in arguments.
All right.
Is that if you suddenly, in order to argue back my point, I have to argue with you about your own subconscious sexual desires, which is not a position that I want to be in because it makes me seem insane if I do that. And then if I don't do it, I'm like, oh, well, gee, congratulations. You sound like a really well-adjusted guy. And
Yeah,
I guess
see.
I was wrong about humanity.
That's
Like,
fair, that's
would
fair.
you let an 11-year-old? This is what I asked the other interviewer. Would you let your 11-year-old niece walk through a park at night by herself?
Of course not.
Right. It's obvious. So whether you want to discuss this part of yourself or whether that exists or whatever, we all know that people want to fuck kids. We know that people want to fuck kids. In fact, that's the main safety lesson we teach kids.
Yeah.
We're like, hey, adults want to fuck you, so be careful out there. Like when you see an adult and they're offering you candy, they're most likely not being nice. There are more adults that are just trying to fuck you than there are adults trying to give you candy for free. So anyway, let us know if that happens, and have a good walk to school, buddy.
I
It's
understand.
like you'll be fine.
Right.
We just gotta accept that this world's fucked, dude.
Oh,
There
yeah,
are some
100%,
fucked people
man.
out there.
Just,
There are some fucked people. So if we can teach the next generation like how to steer clear of these fucked people, then that's just what we have to do. We need to understand that there are fucked people out there, and we need to.
I don't
protect
know. See, I don't know
them, you
how.
know?
I don't know that is that unusual. I don't agree with that. That's kind of the opposite of what I'm saying. I'm saying that we are all those people. That you
What
could
do you
take,
mean by that?
You
They're
could take
among us.
somebody who's like a normal guy, a nice normal family, doesn't look at, never had sex with someone underage, has a wife, he's happy, and then he gets in a plane crash, and in a remote island with no hope of rescue and enough food for 5 years, and the only survivors are him and a 12-year-old girl.
I don't,
How long do you think it would be before they have sex?
I mean, you're talking extremes here.
Yeah,
It
I know,
depends on the
but I'm
dude.
just saying that a lot of what defines our normal sexual behavior is context and societal expectations. If you remove those things,
I agree with
you
that,
can
but
suddenly
still,
imagine
it depends
a
on the
guy
dude.
who you would think would be a normal, well-adjusted person suddenly doing things that he would never think
But
he
you
would
can't-
do,
you
and
can't
that you'd
use-
never think he would do.
You can't use a
just did.
theoretical
I just did.
situation and to be like, no, actually, guys, everybody is.
If you don't want to if you don't want to go on that plane ride with me, I completely understand if that makes you uncomfortable. However, I can, and that's the point of my channel is that we're gonna go on that plane ride. We are gonna crash land on that island. We're gonna see what fucking happens. When
And then we're
there.
gonna fuck.
and then we're all gonna fuck. That's
So I
right.
get it's just like, okay, I understand you now. It's more like you're trying to have that conversation. You're not
I'm
trying
trying to have
shy
that
away from
uncomfortable
it.
conversation that I think one or two of the people on this call don't quite want it, or maybe none of us want it. It's not like I want. Look, I'm when I say uncomfortably honest, I am among the uncomfortable. Like if you think it's uncomfortable watching that review, you can imagine that it's pretty uncomfortable filming, editing, and posting. it.
Imagine like saying it and putting it out there. Yeah.
I do wonder, like, how often does a thought of should I, like, when you're editing, when you're like listening back to it?
Fairly often.
Really?
Yeah, I like while I was editing that, I was like, it's possible that when you post this, you're stepping through a door that you can never go back through.
Damn.
And I was like, well,
Yeah.
that's the channel. So
that's the idea,
Yeah.
huh?
that's the idea.
I was really wondering, the degree of self-awareness.
A medium amount.
Yeah, I see your point. No matter how comfortable we may or may not be towards some of these topics, it doesn't mean these things don't happen and that some people, view things that way. So you're just going
Right.
to the extreme. You're saying like, well, here's what it is then. Here's what we need to talk about.
Right, and then if I can implicate myself in that and say I have had these thoughts, I have this is part of me, then I do, because I don't think it's kind of weak to me to hear someone give a TED talk about pedophilia as if she does not have her own sexuality, as if she did not have her own sexual experiences as a child, or whatever. It just feels like, why are you on stage talking about this shit? And she does not give us an answer as to why this is like her life's work. And I feel like in order for it to really mean anything to the audience, we also have to know about you and why you're talking about this. So I never want to present myself as like this totally normal person who's above, especially not above, but just outside or beyond the reach of whatever disturbing topic I'm talking about.
You're not acting like the moral right person. You're acting like you're just a human, and like these thoughts do happen to you as well, and that's why you're talking about it.
Right. And
damn, dude. Fuck.
You know what? It takes some balls to do
It
that.
does.
Yeah,
It really
100%.
does.
I appreciate that. Okay, I gotta go in like 2 minutes.
Okay.
So-
Oh shit.
Can we just like one last? I wanted just to make that clear right before you go. Your consent video. There's one thing that I was really want to make sure you understand correctly. You said like, since we don't consent verbally to everything that our partner does to us, it's like there's still part of that is not consensual. But don't you think that if it's not verbally expressed, it's still like you mentally consent to like certain things of the act?
I think it can be, but I think there's always some part of you that is saying no and some part of you that's saying yes. I think that it's just more complicated than a simple yes or no. And like with other things, it doesn't matter as much. You know, like if your girlfriend or your boyfriend is like, hey, can we watch my favorite show tonight? And you're like, yeah. And some part of you is like, no, I don't want to do this. And then some part of you is like, well, you know, let's be nice. Or some part of you is like, you know what, I'm starting to like this show. It doesn't matter that you're having this like flurry of ambiguous emotions. When it comes to something like consenting to sex, suddenly it does matter a lot. But the problem is that your actions are always a binary. You're either going to have sex or you're not.
Okay.
But your internals are never a binary. There's always some part of you that doesn't want to and some part of you that does. And I think that in simplifying consent into, oh, you're going to be so sure you want to have sex every time you have it, it's just not true. And you're going to be so sure you don't want to have sex every time you say no, that's not true either. And I think that talking about that would make it much easier for people to figure out how to make the right decision instead of saying yes when they meant no and then accusing the person of rape, or saying no when they meant yes and missing out on sex they wanted to have, or whatever. It can just become a mess for both parties.
So you are for nuance of consent.
Yes. Now, how that enacts into law, the law can't be that nuanced.
Not so black and white. Yeah.
That's tricky. But I'm more talking about just interpersonal or like psychological consent, not legal.
Goddamn.
I'm really sad we can't talk more about the consent video because there is so much I want to ask.
We can talk another time if you guys want to.
Honestly, like,
So let me know.
I think we might have to get Mr. Girl back on for another episode because we have so many questions that we didn't get to ask.
We just might.
All right, fellas, I gotta go. It'll be an honor.
Thank you for
if
coming.
you have me back, and otherwise, thank you either way.
We'll keep in
Thank you.
touch.
100%,
Okay.
man. It was a
Alright.
pleasure to have you on. Like, I really appreciate it.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thank you.
See ya.
Have a good one.
Goodbye.
All right, guys. So that was the Mr. Girl interview.
Yeah, it really happened, guys.
Maybe not the last one. Be sure to leave a like if you enjoy these kinds of episodes, because we enjoy making them. You know, it
Shit,
gives
man.
a kind of a professional shine to the
Holy
to the
shit,
cast.
dude. Like, holy shit, dude.
And wait, before we start,
this will be the end. In conclusion, talking about planes. If you guys want to get on a plane ride and ride it until it crashes, be sure to get on a Boeing because they bounce.
They do.
Boeing,
And then Austin will
Boeing,
fuck
Boeing.
you.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Thank you
Holy
for watching.
fuck!
Follow the TikTok. Follow the
Follow the
Cosmics channel.
TikTok. We're on SoundCloud now.
Oh,
as
no,
Jason
we're
said
on
at the
everywhere,
beginning.
guys. Apple Podcasts.
We're on
Spotify.
everywhere now, as Jason said at the beginning.
Should be.
All right.
Thank you for watching.
Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. We'll see you next time. Peace out.
Haha, you guys couldn't hear what Jason said. He said something inappropriate to me. Poo poo pee pee.